Om Shanti. Today Baba says that we are Karam Yogis, and there was this senior sister in Madhuban, and she was sharing an experience that once there was this sadhu who had come to Madhuban, and he was asking her, so how long can you sit in meditation? So at a stretch, can you sit for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours? So Didi said that I told him that we can sit for very long hours, but what I would like to tell you as an answer to this is that that is not our prowess. So it's not like if I can sit for 8 hours in meditation, that is an achievement. But even if I just do Amrit Vela, I'm a Karam Yogi all day, and all through the day, in whatever I do, I am in remembrance of Baba, and all my karma is accurate karma. That is the biggest achievement in Sangam Yuga. And you see that there is a lot of confusion around and about this word Karam Yogi. So sometimes people think that Karam Yogi means work is worship, and they think that when you're doing your work, that is equal to worship, and that makes you a Karam Yogi. But Baba has told us that work is not worship. You are in the Karam Kshetra. So even if you're not doing anything, you're doing something. Yes, so even not doing is karma. You are in Karam Kshetra. You don't have a choice about action or work. And Baba says that it is not what you do, but how you do it. And how is not about the quality of work, but the state in which the soul is while working. And Baba says, when you are in remembrance of me, then whatever you do is knowledgeful, virtuous, and powerful. And that is the kind of karma that creates your fortune, because when you do karma in the consciousness or remembrance of Baba, then every karma is accurate according to the law of karma. Yes, so everything you do, whether it is thought, word, act, using your body, mind, wealth, whatever you do, Baba says, when you remember me, when you do things in remembrance of me, then everything that you do will be according to Srimad, and then it will be accurate. So Baba says that this is your objective in Sangam Yoga. It's not just working, it's being a Karam Yogi. So in every action, in order that the action is accurate, the act or karma is accurate, you have to do it in remembrance of Baba. And when we say remembrance of Baba now, so you see that it is very strange that when we come to spiritual matters, we find it so difficult to understand, whereas spirituality is, spirituality is not very different. It's doing the same thing that you do in the physical world, but you do it with Baba here, right? So it's not very different. So when Baba says remembrance, I have seen that most children have a lot of confusion about remembrance, about how to remember Baba, and then how to constantly remember Baba. And then there would be confusion about how I can remember Baba while working, or while doing my job, or while taking care of a family, or while attending to something. But the thing is, do you really think about what you are doing in the moment? So whenever you are cooking, or whenever you are doing your work in office, or wherever you are always remembering somebody who is in your heart. It could be someone, it could be something, but your heart is always connected somewhere else. And when you remember that someone or something, it's not just the image. It's not like, just the image keeps popping up in your head, but the whole personality, how they talk, what they think, or what would they say at this time, or what would they bring with them in this time, right? So how would you feel in their presence? All of those things come up when you remember someone. When you remember your mother, for example, your physical mother, then you remember all the direction she keeps giving you all the time, where as soon as you remember her, or you remember, the comfort and the assurance and the courage she brings with her when she's around. So Baba says that remembrance of Baba is also like that. So as soon as you remember Baba, you feel that Baba is with you. And then you feel the guidance of Baba, that whatever Baba speaks in the Murli, that comes into your awareness at that time. And then Baba's love and Baba's strength and power and support, inspiration and Baba's courage, everything you get in that moment. But the most important thing is you understand that Baba is here and Baba is watching, and whatever I am doing has to be according to Srimad, has to be according to what Baba says. So you remember Srimad whenever you remember Baba, and then you also remember the virtues and powers, and you feel the strength and support of Baba's presence. And in that moment you have sanity. You are not deceived by Maya, you are not blinded by vices. Baba is the seer of the three aspects of time, Trikaldarshi. And Baba, whenever you remember Baba, you remember that this is not my only birth, and this is not the only moment there is. People say live life in this moment. No, but then the people are we live in this culture, buy now, pay later. Yes, but that pertains to karma also. If you just think that life is one moment long, and then you think that whatever you feel like you do in this moment, okay, you can do it, but then you'll pay for it, right? So Baba has told us all these things, and whenever I remember Baba, I also operate like a master Trikaldarshi. I am also aware that whatever I will do in this moment, because some vice is encouraging me or pushing me to do something, but then if I do it, if I end up doing it, then I will pay later for it. So when Baba comes, when you are in remembrance of Baba, you remember everything that Baba stands for. You remember Baba as a whole, and then Baba says your karma will be accurate, and you will not perform sinful karma, because sinful actions are performed when you are in body consciousness. So this is something that Baba underlines today. And then Baba says that don't have greed. And what is greed? Greed is attachment to things. So, just like, so you see, all the vices are different forms of attachment, if you see. So, lust is attachment to body. Yes, so the attachment to body is called lust. The attachment to your own acquired labels, titles, your own acquired identities in this world, that's called ego. Yes, and then The attachment to relationships is called attachment. So what we call attachment is basically attachment to relationships. And then there is attachment to things. And then Baba says that is called greed. And when these attachments are not satiated, then there is anger. So even anger is a byproduct of attachment, yes? So when you have attachment to an idea and that idea is not honored, then you get angry. When your label is not considered, recognized, then you get angry. So even anger is, a byproduct of attachment. And today Baba says don't have greed, that is, don't have attachment to things. So do you have attachment to things? So, we get attached very easily. It's very, so, empty soul, very attached, very instantly attached. And I will tell you one incident yesterday. So, yesterday was Deepavali, and in the center we had a rangoli. So, it was a rangoli made of flowers, and it was a beautiful one. And then it was made in that same hall where the class is conducted, the Murli class. So the rangoli was made, and then everybody visited, and they had they clicked pictures with the rangoli also, and then there was diya lighting and everything. And then at 10 o'clock we decided that the rangoli needs to be cleaned, because again today we have a class there. So then I asked this Kumar, this brother, that you clean the whole, those petals, you clean it. Then he said, oh, I don't feel like cleaning it, it was so beautiful. And so you see, this is what Baba is talking about. So attachment, and attachment can happen in 4 hours. When you see something, and do you see that this is something that is there in Baba's house, and it is in the house of the one who is always detached. But still you can get attached to it. And then there's this very famous example we give, when you come and sit on a chair, and then you go to use the washroom or drink water, and then when you come back, somebody is sitting on that same chair, and then you say, they took away my chair. So now you're attached to the chair for which you sat for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So this kind of attachment we have. And then Baba says, this attachment is very dangerous, because although it might look very normal and very okay, and everybody does it in this world, but when we have to leave the body, at that time Baba says this attachment will wreak havoc, because whatever you are attached to, whatever your heart is attached to, you will remember that in the end. Yes, and when you remember that in the end, then how will your antmate sogati be? So your final moments will decide your onward journey. And if you remember something of this old world in your final moment, then your onward journey will be compromised. It will not be as elevated as it was supposed to be, because you are remembering something from the Kalyugi world. And Baba today gives an example of, furniture. And Baba says, even if somebody has beautiful furniture, they get attached to it, and then they'll remember the furniture at the end. And I remember, there was this one person, and it was because of some accident that we ended up being in that place. So I was in that woman's place, and she was, everything was happening. She was constantly cleaning the dining table, and not just the top, she would clean the legs and everything also. And then when I saw her, she told me, we just bought it, it cost 7 lakhs. So, and she was so attached to the dining table. In fact, I think most of the furniture was very costly, so she was very attached to it. And then when she told me it is 7 lakhs and it was, we've just bought it, then I thought then I told it's good that, you spent your money also and you got something to do also, because all day now you're thinking about the dining table. Of course, she was not in Gyan, so I couldn't tell her that, you could use your faculties better. But this is what happens. So people buy stuff, they keep preening the stuff, and they keep just thinking about it and ruminating over it. This is what keeps going in the world. But Baba says, you don't have attachment to things. Now, do you have attachment to things? You have to ask yourself. Yes, so if you have any attachment to anything, any object, then that object will spoil your fortune. And Baba says that you must give away that which spoils your fortune. Yes, something that has the capacity to spoil your fortune, you give it away. And the best method to give it away is to use it in seva. So, when you have attachment to something and you use it in seva, then the association starts to shift. You start looking at the thing as a seva instrument rather than something else. And I will tell you, so sometimes points in the Murli are repeated. So this point in the Murli had come some 7-8 years back. I remember this same point was there, and then there was a program, and there is a sister in the center. She has a very fancy car, so she comes in the center and she has a very fancy car. And then we had to lift chairs from the center and take it to some other venue. And then she said, I would like to do that in my car. And it was such a fancy car that even we thought, that's not a good idea. So we thought, I told her, your car would get scratches or something. And then she said, no, Didi, I'm telling you, let's do it in my car. So I said, okay. So then we did that, and of course there were a few scratches because the chairs, they don't fit into the car very properly. So there were a few scratches, and then she was very happy. So then I told her, what happened? You look very happy because you got scratches in your car. So she said, Didi, I have a lot of attachment for this car. Ever since I bought it, it is my, what do you say, in the Lokik world, most prized possession. But then I heard Baba's Murli, and I definitely thought, maybe in the final moments I'll think about this because I'm so attached to my car. So, and then I thought that if I just use it in seva, I think my attachment will go away. And then she kept offering that car. It still gets used in seva. So now, now she doesn't have any attachment to the car. She has it, but whenever the center needs it, she just uses it in seva. And then her attachment is removed. So, this is a very, very good method, and I have shared a practical example of how this works. So if you have anything you are attached to and you use it in seva, then that attachment is removed. Because the whole point of attachment is you never use it in a worthwhile way. So when you are attached to something, you see, you never use it in the right method. That's a sign of attachment. And Baba says, you remove your attachment to things like this, because these things will spoil your fortune. This attachment will spoil your fortune. And then I would like to talk about two things that Baba underlines today. One is carelessness, the Baba, in Hindi it is called albelapan. So Baba says that, there is a great deal of, carelessness in children, yes. And then the other thing is, Baba says that many children understand many things, yes, but they just don't do it, yes. And Baba says today that if, I will read that out to you. Baba says that if something enters the intellect of someone but he doesn't put it into practice, Baba would call him a fool. So, do you know that most souls in the world do not have the capacity to get what Baba is saying? They will not understand. It doesn't enter their intellect. And only the fortunate children have the capacity that Baba's Gyan enters their intellect. So the fact that you understand what Baba is saying and you understand what Baba is expecting, or not even expecting, hoping from you, and you understand what Baba's directions are, is a sign of great fortune. But you know what is the sign of great misfortune? That you understand and don't do it. That's the greatest misfortune. So Baba says, most children are not fortunate enough to get what Baba is saying. It doesn't enter their buddhi. And I have been, in the role of this instrument for Baba for quite some time now. And earlier, I didn't understand that most intellects don't get it. But slowly, gradually, I have come to realize that most souls in the world, they don't have intellects that get what Baba is saying, that just understand what Baba is saying. But if you are that one who understands it, you are very fortunate. You're very, very fortunate. And then Baba says, if you understand and don't do it, then that is very, very unfortunate. Okay, so this is something that I really liked in the Murli. And then Baba says that don't be careless. Don't think that, okay, this is what Baba says, but okay, I'll do it, but don't do it. So don't be in that mode. Because Baba today says that those who are careless, they will repent a lot later. Yes, and Baba says that, this carelessness, and sometimes when Baba will say in the Murli that these children are careless, then children, what they do is they will say, oh, I am careless. And they will take that as a label and start accepting that also as one of the labels that Baba has given. Baba says, no, I'm not full of frustration to call out to you that you're careless. So I don't have any business in calling out to you that you're careless until and unless there is a motive to it. So what is the motive? The motive is you realize and change. Baba says, I'm not labeling you. I'm not human that, I get satisfaction out of labeling you that you're careless. So Baba says, when I'm telling you that these are the signs of carelessness, and you appear to be a careless one and you are getting it but not doing it, so do it. And so today I would really urge you to practically do this homework, identify the things you have attachment to, identify your greed, and then use it in seva. Whatever you have greed for, something, some possession, some money, something. So just use it in seva. That's the method to get over that greed. And the second thing is, just make a list of what you understand but are not doing. So what is that which Baba says, that which is Shrimat, and you understand it but you don't do it? Because when you understand something and don't do it, then your self-esteem is lost because of that. So when you know that you should be doing something and you're not doing it, then it eats away your self-esteem. And when your self-esteem is lost, think about how much Maya will betray you. Because it is all about self-esteem. If the soul doesn't have self-esteem, then it cannot draw power from Baba, then you cannot win over Maya. So when you don't have self-esteem, the first thing you lose is your right over Baba. So when I feel that I'm not following Shrimat, and you only feel that when you understand what you should be doing but you don't do it. So Baba says, when you have this feeling that I'm not following Shrimat, then the second thing that will happen is you will have the feeling that I cannot connect with Baba, or Baba doesn't love me, or I'm not able to draw power from Baba. Because until and unless you are a soul seated in self-respect, you cannot draw power from Baba. And when you cannot draw power from Baba, then what will Maya do? Maya will just eat you up. So Baba says, so practically, you have to make a list of what you understand but don't do, and start doing it. And Baba says, it will require effort, of course, but then that effort is worth it, because this small effort that you will make today will make you gain a lot, and you will be thankful for this effort today. And today Baba says, truth leads to victory. In Hindi it is called Satyamev Jayate. Yes, and Baba says, whatever I tell you is truth. I am the ocean of truth. I am truth. Baba is called the truth. God is truth. And Baba says, whatever I am telling you is the truth. Whatever I am directing you is the true direction. And Baba says, when you do that, you will be victorious. So have faith in yourself, have faith in Baba, and have faith in Shrimat, and do what Baba says. So Baba says that this is true. When Baba says, I am the purifier, if you remember me, then you will get absolved of your sins. That's absolutely true. And Baba says, do that. And then today in the blessing, Baba says that Baba has given us a lot of treasures. So, so do you understand that you are not ordinary anymore? That you are the one whose aprons have been filled by God Himself. So we have every possible treasure. But still, why do we look ordinary? Why do we think ordinary? Why do we behave ordinary many a times? That's the question. Because Baba says that I have given you everything, but you are not taking care of it and you are not multiplying it. So Baba says you are not doing two things, which is you are not looking after your treasures and you are not multiplying your treasures. How do you look after something? You look after something. Do you know the secret to looking after something? It's attention. It's attention and checking. How do you look after your children? Attention. Yes, I remember there was this class by Janki Dadiji, and Dadiji said something very nice. Dadi said that, Brahma Baba, and in Brahma Baba's body, of course, Shiv Baba, but Brahma Baba also, she mentioned that he always had a lot of attention towards every child. And we felt very nurtured by his attention. Yes, and do you know why children these days are suffering? Because they have food, clothes, resources, comforts, but no attention from parents. Yes, so this is a very important thing that Baba tells, the power of attention and the power of constant checking. So when you pay attention and when you check on something or someone, then they feel looked after. So this looking after is a product of attention and checking. And today Baba says that I have given you a lot of treasures, but do you look after your treasures? I have given you so many points of knowledge, I have given you virtues, I have given you powers, I have given you understandings, experiences. There are so many insights. Baba has given us so many things. But Baba says, do you pay attention to them? Do you just, just like, sometimes you just open your bank account and keep checking how much is the fixed deposit, how much is this deposit, that deposit. Do you open your treasure store every day and just see what all Baba has given you? How many of you do it daily? What all has Baba given me in Sangam Yoga? So every day open your treasure store taken from Baba, and just see what are the gifts that Baba has given me in Sangam Yoga, which I didn't have earlier. And then Baba says that keep checking, that Baba has given me, but am I still having it? That is, am I upholding it in my daily life, and am I living in its awareness? So this is looking after your treasures. So you get a treasure one day, you are very happy. So some point in the Murli makes you very happy today, but then tomorrow you forget it and the happiness is also gone. But that's not something that can go away. If you just keep it and you paid attention to it, that treasure can give you happiness every day. Yes, that treasure can only, every point of the Murli, it makes us so happy when we listen to it, but if I forget it, that happiness is lost. But if I preserved it in my memory and I saw it every day, I again, took it out and took the power from it and took the happiness from it every day, then every treasure, and you see every day we have new treasures. So many points, so many experiences, so many examples, so many so Baba is giving us virtues, powers, everything. So Baba says, just pay attention to your treasures and check it. That's looking after. And then Baba says, share it and it will multiply. So if you share knowledge, yes, how do you share knowledge? Through the mouth. How do you share virtues? Through actions. Yes, And how do you share powers? You share powers by being an embodiment of power. So when you have the power to tolerate, and you tolerate in two situations, then the person who sees you learns how to tolerate. When you have the power of humility and you are humble in a very challenging situation, then people learn the power of humility. Not only the virtue of humility, but they also see the strength of humility, because every virtue is a power, and it brings many it is a very, very powerful act to be virtuous, and it brings you a lot of contentment and satisfaction. And when you are an embodiment of that power, then people pick on it. So the way to share virtues is to be an embodiment of them. The way to share the way to share powers is to be an embodiment of them. The way to share virtues is through your actions. So when you're sweet, you talk sweetly, other people also talk sweetly in your presence. Yes, when you have the virtue of patience, then somebody who's standing with you also learns how to wait patiently. So Baba says that you must learn how to share. So knowledge can be shared through the mouth, but virtues cannot be shared through the mouth. You cannot teach somebody to be virtuous by giving a lecture on virtues. No. You have to show them in action. And power has to be in your personality. And only then you can give somebody power. So Baba says that when you share it, it multiplies, because when you share something, then the other is also benefited. And when the other is benefited, you get blessings. And when there are blessings, then they multiply. So Baba says, just look after your treasures and ensure that they multiply. And then you will realize that you are not ordinary. You are the one who is the master ocean of treasures, because you are the child of the ocean of treasures. And in the blessing, Baba also points out Balak so Malik. So just by being Baba's child, you are a Malik of every treasure. But you must, and Baba says Vidhi se Siddhi, so you must understand the method. The method is looking after and sharing. So when you look after and share, then whatever you have received from Baba by virtue of being a child, you will become an embodiment of that. Okay? Om Shanti.